We created 13.4 million new jobs, more jobs in 2 years than any president has ever made in 4 and 2. And folks, it's no accident. That's Bidenomics in action. Bidenomics is about building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down.
All right, welcome back into Wake Up America. President Biden yesterday in Chicago claiming the U.S. economy is thriving under what the administration is now calling Bidenomics.
Yeah, this as the administration looks to make the economy a major part of the 2024 campaign. Joining us now for more in studio is Pennsylvania Congressman and member of the House Financial Services and Small Business Committees, Dan Meuser. Congressman, thanks for joining us today.
Always great being with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So under Joe Biden, wages haven't been able to keep up with inflation. He's touting Bidenomics. And we've got inflation at a high, interest rates high, grocery bills high. Small businesses are struggling. Yeah. How is this working? How does he sell this?
Well, it's called gaslighting, perhaps, because the results of his policies and his actions are what my constituents and all Americans live with every day. As you stated, the highest level of inflation in 50 years, which causes interest rates, which causes houses to be more expensive and cars to be more expensive. At the end of the day, he's touting Bidenomics, and yet my constituents it's costing them $800 to $900 more a month in their disposable incomes than it did before. Wow. So if somehow that is a positive development, and then it goes even further. It's rattling the banks. Small businesses are struggling. In some cases, they're actually selling more, but they're making less, which in turn, President Biden's going to reduce revenues, not to mention the fact that trillions of dollars of excessive spending, which is also contributed to inflation.
Yeah, you look at the consumer goods index, they're up almost 20%. Gas, groceries, things like that. And as Allison said, people aren't making more money. All right, so people feel really strapped. It's weird that the administration is strapping themselves to something like this. Politico said that Biden is putting all his chips on the table with a push on Bidenomics. The push to own the economy by literally branding it with the president's name is not without risk. And I think they're talking about, hey, what if we go into a recession or something like that? Bidenomics could literally sink the campaign if things go south economically in this country. And that could happen, couldn't it?
Yeah. Every day people pull up to the fuel pump. They're paying over $1 more than they were in 2019 when Trump was president. Grocery stores are where you hear the most of the excesses, where it would cost you $60 before, it's $100, $110. Farmers are dealing with the issue. So not only are they doing their best to suppress the economy with no growth initiatives, by the way.
Right.
I mean, can anyone name one growth initiative? I actually posed that question to Janet Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, the other day in a hearing. I said, is there any other growth initiative underway by this administration other than excessive spending? You know what her answer to me was? We must continue to invest in the United States of America.
Great.
So that was a yes.
Great, Janet. Great stuff.
Keep
you could say infrastructure, but the problem is there's nothing tangible. All right. All these bridges and roads aren't going to be done till 2030. So people, when they go to vote, they can't say, hey, I got a new road paved in my town or a new bridge, you know?
Yeah. $240 billion in rebates for EVs and charging stations. $240 billion of taxpayer money, and we haven't seen any of that yet. And how many of those charging stations you think would be put in the right place?
Right.
Probably none.
Exactly.
Do you want to talk about
let's talk about True Social. So they're trying to go public, but there's been a problem. Can you get more into that?
Real quickly and easily, Truth Social, under something called Digital World Acquisition Company, is attempting to go public, as do 1,000 other companies submitting an S-4 to the SEC for approval. Truth Social is the only submission of 2022 that has gone beyond 400 days.
Wait, who runs Truth Social?
That
happens to be Donald Trump.
Oh.
Yep. And we have a gentleman by the name of Gary Gensler. He's the SEC chairman. He happened to be the CFO for Hillary Clinton. He's the guy who personally wrote the check for the Steele dossier. So when we drop the Biden administration from this White House, we will also be removing this weaponization, these bureaucrats in the fourth branch of government, how they refer to it, that are controlling, from the IRS, frankly, the FBI, the DOJ, and the SEC. It's wrong. People need to be aware of this. I mean, they're deliberately suppressing and not just this. Donald Trump's not going to be the one suffering from this. They got 20 million individual investors, many of that are my constituents, that will lose their money because of this outrageous non-action.
I read this morning that when Facebook initially filed for its IPO, I believe back in 2011-12, it had fewer active users than Truth Social does right now. So this is all about Donald Trump, who you just endorsed.
I did. Let's just go. I'm about results, right? I was in business a long time, and at the end of the day, what matters is results. Under Donald Trump, prior to COVID, we had inflation wasn't a factor. We had low interest rates. We were pro-growth. We were on a move. Come on, we all remember it. There was patriotism. Our military was strong. We had trade agreements with China, favorable ones. We passed the USMCA. Our GDP was up. Taxes were down. People and wages were up. People were
Border
living.
was more secure.
Yeah. My goodness, our border was secure. Probably the worst crisis that this Biden administration has created. And so which way do we want to go? We can handle a couple of mean tweets and a strong national security and great economy, or do we deal with this Bidenomics with
Such a good point.
crushing our national security and our economy? And his campaign slogan is, let's finish the job.
Yeah, I like that. Congressman, I think a lot of people look back at the Trump years nostalgically, which is just ironic 2.5 years later. Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser, thanks so much for being with us in-house this morning.